Hello and welcome to another video on how to become a business consulting freelancer. So in the couple past videos and weeks, I went over to the fundamentals of the consulting, which is what are the tasks that a consultant does, as well as how consulting success looks like, that you have cash flow, flexibility, and the security that these lifestyles give you, as well as how you can earn the most from your advice, suggestions, and expertise. Identify the type of project that you can work on, such as strategic improvement or implementation, and also some tips, especially to improve your productivity, whether it's use time blocking, that's one of them, which is something that I heavily rely on that. And some tips like stick to your calendar, stick to your schedule, avoid distractions, eliminate distraction sites or blocking them, find a way to get you into the zone, focus, and don't forget to take breaks. So, with that, then I look at the section 2, which is now that you know the fundamentals, it is time to get started as a freelancer consultant. So first is identify your strengths and weakness. Capitalize on your strengths at the beginning. Remember that you can choose different working style, which is different to the type of project that you can work as a consultant. Okay, and the different working style is or training and teaching, which is one to many, or one-on-one consultation, which is is a high price for that, or in a specialized service, which is something that I right now here, okay, which is somewhat quote unquote more easy or much more easy. So then identify the niche, uh, the characteristic of a niche that is a group of people that have a large problem to solve. They actively looking for a solution. They are people that are willing to pay for the solution, and it must have something that you have interest in. So after that, avoid some mistakes when choosing a niche. Align yourself with an established platform. You can do that by reverse engineering what are the things that you have interest. Also, some mistakes to avoid, especially when you align yourself with an established platform. And then the way of how you can create an offer and the value statement, which helps you to summarize uh, what is your offer about. After that, define is the scope of that offer. Meaning is, well, it's important to define clear deliverables for the client, as well as how success, yeah, how success is going to be measured, which is something important and valuable for the client, as well as be huge in communication. Okay, so one single offer is not, or a great offer is not just only one single offering. In fact, is a value ladder of offering. So you have that guideline, this value ladder, which is something that Paul Mendes, the Zero to Mastery instructor, mentioned. It is important to not take that strictly. Okay, and when I talk about this value ladder here, it's important to not take this or not copy this exactly. This act as a guideline or as a recipe that you can later on can apply and to see what is a good fit for you depending on your context. So you can start with free with the consultations. You can see if this is the right client that you want to work with, to do even more fact finding about the clients, and to see if you're able to provide the value, aka solve their problems for them. If it is, well, you can then or set an accounting audit or a project audit. This is to do even more fact findings about that, get some money in your pocket, and develop a roadmap about what are the things that you would like to do, or this consultation that you're gonna do. Also, you can then offer is, for example, a 10-hour package for that, weekly maybe, or monthly, depend of your particular, how do you put it? Yeah, depend of your particular industry. And ultimately, remember that the whole goal and the holy grail of all business is to have recurring clients. So with that, okay, with that mindset of this recurring client, uh, it's important to create a service agreement that will look, Jesus, uh, this service agreement will makes you look much more professional and protect you if anything goes wrong down the line. So they mention also some key areas of this service agreement: the project timeline, the scope of the work, the uh, project overview, the compensation and yeah, the compensations, the terms and terminations, and the agreement. Okay, so with that, then I look at the section 3. It's like, okay, so how you can get real feedback by putting everything that you have learned into practice. Focus now on the execution. Okay, uh, and then, well, when it comes to fine line happy consulting clients, there's some mistake to avoid, like start building your portfolio or paying running ads, as well as not focusing on your skill. So there are several plays that you can right now in 2023, in the couple back in the last couple years, by the way, that you can do that. But right now, you can go with platforms like Upwork, Freelancer, or Fiverr, right? Which is this e top online platforms that connect freelancers with clients. Or you can go with your existing network. This is something that is very, very, very contextual. If you live in the US or Canada, that might be good. However, if you live in countries like Venezuela, Pakistan, or India, it's like, in any case. And also, there are all employment sites, even though that this doesn't align 100% with consulting, but it can help you to get your foot in the door, and then down the line, you can switch to that. Cool. I also look at some uh, tools that will allow you, especially to keep track every aspect of your business. Okay, so for example, like CRM, hotspots provide you that, so you can see all your sales funnels as well as email tracking, schedule meetings. But the whole point of this is to see how you can create a business relationship with different clients. Okay, and that's the whole one of the goal of the business is to develop this long-lasting business relationship. Cool. So some tips, especially when it comes to improve yourself uh, for a landing high-paying consulting client. Remember that this is a numbers game. and it is very, very easy to say that, but when you face that, it's not that easy. But remember that, as well as what am I doing today, and am I putting myself in the best possible position to move on? Okay, and also show your face because you want to create a distinction between yourself and your digital avatar. And there's some other subtle thing that you should do. For example, improve your health, whether it's hit the gym, as well as eating better or more healthy, sleep, which is something that I need to fix that. And then I also look at some consultation sell tips uh, for land more additional clients. So first, be an active listener. Use speed. Use solution selling process and add free value. This doesn't mean that you're gonna work with the client for free. This is something that you're going above and beyond the client's expectations. And when it comes to the solution selling process, this is a process that was developed by Frank Watts in 1985 at One Laboratories, once one of the largest computer manufacturing in the world. And now that company evaporated from that, and then he presented that solution selling process methodology to Zero company, and later on he created his own agency and then patent that method. So the whole point of this solution selling process is to diagnose the prospect needs and opportunities, and then recommend the right product or service to solve the challenge they're having. So this actually works for any business to business sell process that need a tailored solution or a tailored solution. So this actually doesn't work for things that sells out of the shell. For example, try to sell water on the desert. Good luck with that. So you don't need a solution for that. Uh, and the process of this, it starts with the prospect journey. Okay, so this is when you find the right client, you start to reach out to them you start to get in front of them to get their attention, and then you qualify all of these clients and prospects to do even more fact findings about what the client expectations are, and then this is just all about asking the right questions to ultimately, the step 3 is to make a demo and discovery call. Okay, the whole point of this is to well, see if the clients ultimately want to work with you, or if this is going to end right there so I can move on to the next project. And if everything went well in that interview, well, you can now send the proposal and add value. So the client say, hey, great, send me some more information about it. And this is when you compile all of your expertise and experience, and you outline several options that the client can go with. All right. So this is something that I did for my particular Shopify client. Okay. And when it comes to add the free value, I show them that using ChatGPT, I will be able to learn Shopify in 2 days, and then down the line is dedicating is, and I show them that I know about it. Okay, and yeah, so Then I negotiate with the client to actually dedicate a certain amount of time to learn about that while also solving their problems and things like that. So that's great. That's great. But again, the client show my intentions on learning and to solve the problems. Then he decide to negotiate the contract. Also, it's important to know how to tackle all of objections and identify them. Most of the time, it can be boiled down into time, budget, or value. Okay, if the issue is time, well, you can now see if you can provide the client's value, or if the objection is money, well, you can adjust your price and provide down the line value so you can renegotiate that. And if the problem is value, well, you can show your past experience, uh, or if you don't have that, adjust your price and tell them that you are driven to provide exceptional results to build your image as a consultant. So once you were able to identify all of these objections and tackle them, right? So do all of this Aikido shit to do. Uh, it's important also to follow up consistently with the client and get creative to stand out, which is the reason why I'm recording is all of this video. And after that, you can strengthen your portfolio. So another important topic is once you tackle all of these objections, the client decide to work with you. Hey, now it is time to, well, handle the client payments. And this is very, very important. So first, get the service agreement signed. Second, secure the payment methods, whether it's weekly or by per milestone, secure that. Okay. And then is when you're starting to provide your service, right? Only then is when you begin providing your consulting service. So when it comes now to invoice your client, okay, which is the next step, Upwork actually handles that. Freelancers or Fiverr, all of these online platforms handles that for you, or you can use personal invoice, whether it's QuickBooks or Sahabook, which is something that you're gonna do, as well as PayPal. Okay, so the whole point of this is to keep track is your source of income, as well as the issue is invoice to also pay your taxes because if you don't do that, you will be like Al Capone. So you need to get serious about business because you don't want to get ripped off by the market. And remember that once you know how to find the right client, you send the service agreement, you get the service agreement signed, you secure the payments, uh, and then you're starting to gain some traction, solve their problems. Remember that the ultimate goal of this is to scale to multiple business because this will help you to diversify your source of income. And with that, you can have much more experience in different industry by having different clients in multiple industries. And remember that the way of how you can scale your business is to provide a top quality product because ultimately people spend or buy things that they trust and love. So because of that, this is an emotional component. So referrals are key to growth. This is one of them. And then remember to use CRM for that, uh, as well as getting business leads. to your business. And don't forget to repeat these cycles, like getting business lead, show them value, build up your reputation, and repeat, right? So, okay, with that, okay, so now that I look at this, how to find and land and pay consulting clients, the section 4 now focuses on the actual task that a consultant does, which is, okay, first, uh, how to conduct a research and gather quality data. Data is something very powerful that it can help you to influence, inform, persuade, reinforce your point of view, but also can be misleading. And especially when you're conducting a research for a consulting project, it's important to recognize is which data are the most valuable. So first party data, data that come from the company, then second party data, data that comes from trust sources, sources that they are not anonymous, they are great record of research report, peer review, and the aggregate sources, which this is the least because you can verify the quality of each of their sources. Uh, they might be behind to some paywall. Uh, and then is when you're going to conduct is the research. So by sifting from different perspectives, play devil advocate with yourself because things are not black and white, and also gather relevant data as much as possible. Okay, or gather as much relevant information as possible, as well as take notes and keep records of every source you obtain along the way. Qualify those sources, verify the quality of those sources, and ultimately don't forget to circle back with the client. So, which is something that I did, particularly for the e-commerce, and Paul Mendes make a his show is a guideline or a recipe, okay, of how he conduct that particular research. When he look at a website, okay, especially the tourist website here. So first, look at their website and understand all their products and service. And then you go into the specific about all the pricings and categories, the company's review, what makes this company unique, because this is something will help you down the line uh, in your consulting. Once you conduct that research, if you can have access to the first party data, this is great uh, because you can see what they have done in the past, how they have been performing, and from there provide your suggestions and recommendations. So once you conduct this research based on the brand, on their products and services, their pricings, then you can do something called the competitor analysis. And this is to understand who the other players in that industry are by look at what they're doing, see what they're doing, and see what you can learn from them. Okay, this is this step two. Step two. Steps two. And from there, okay, uh, you can use a keyword research. So once you conduct this, you put it. So yeah, so once you conduct this, Jesus, once you conduct this competitor analysis, you can make a keyword research. Okay, that will help you once you put that out there in some keyword research tool, such as from Google or any other vendor, to understand what's going on in that industry. And from there, that's the step three. Once you do the keyword research from that, uh, and then on top of that, that's when you gonna look at the worst news to get up to date data and to see how what is and to see how that Jesus and to see how that everything that I have researched or what is uh, this is to look at and ask this is Jesus, this is for you to look at this is for you to look and ask yourself, hey, everything that I have researched, what is most likely to work today? And from there, this is when you're gonna look at the uh, industry and its regulation and how this industry is adapting to regulations, as well as the where this industry is going, which is something that I conduct here for the e-commerce. I'm not going to dive deep too much into this research, but after all, what it is just I just want to know what an e-commerce is from the different sources, whether it's Shopify or Amazon, as well as the different actors involved in this industry, whether it's the business, the consumers, or um, the governments, and how they relate each other. So you have is the most widely business common, or aka e-commerce, is business to consumers, such as online retailers, digital marketplace, subscription service, ordering food and delivery service, as well as travel, online travel and booking. Another business model is the business to business, such as online marketplace, EDI, online portals, wholesale e-commerce, business to business payment solutions. Also, the consumer to business, such as freelance work, online survey, user generated content, or aka influencers, uh, as well as crowdfunding, or the uh, the crowdfunding or the reverse auction as well. And when it comes to the now the government to business, you have things like public procuramental portals, tax payment and tax filing and payment systems, international trade, permit and licensing, business registrations. For the uh, business to consumers or the governments to consumers, now you have things like payment of tax payments, uh, passport applications, vehicle registrations, and driving license, payment of utility bills, as well as ordering birth and death certificate. And from the consumers to governments, things like online petitions, online donations, uh, payment of fines and fees, uh, permits and licensing. So, for example, fishing licensing or hunting permits. So, with that, okay, to gain a little bit more perspective of all of this, and a couple example of each one of those type of relationship. Then I look at the competitor analysis to understand who the other players are. So, for example, we have Amazon, Alibaba, Etsy, eBay, IKEA, uh, And then the keyword research to understand what's going on in that industry. So, for example, like Shopify, or when it comes to e-commerce, most of the time heavily rely on Shopify. Okay, so Shopify store, Shopify themes, Shopify web design. And when it comes to Amazon, keyword is like Alexa, Fire Stick, which is this control, remote control. Uh, Amazon gift cards. And when it comes to Alibaba, you have wholesale, Alibaba online shoppings, AliExpress, Alibaba products, Shopify, again, something that I mentioned before, but in this case is Shopify store, Shopify apps, Shopify themes, Shopify POS, point of sale, Shopify web design, uh, and then you got the eBay, right? And then also, which is something that I have pending to, the up-to-date news. Most of the time, they are driven with the AI tool or this generated AI. When it comes now to, in the case of the e-commerce, streamline the process of business discovery along as their products and how you can purchase them. In other words, shop or the digital shop assistant. Okay, so once you know that, now it is time to put that in a visually engaging way, because that will help you to show to your clients how you came with that conclusion, because this is something they're going to ask to you. And by showing them the meaningful pattern with different aesthetics and statistics, ultimately the client can see the value of that and decide if they want to work for you or if they trust you. This also to show that you're not another consultant that just do the bare minimum to get by. Okay. All right. So with that, then it is also important, especially when you're creating this report. So first, understand that data visualization helps to make more informed decisions. Okay, and how you can do that is by first, before creating your report, you must know exactly what you're gonna put in there. Okay. Second, put the most relevant data first, because you don't want the client start to forget what the most important thing was. Okay. For this client that I'm working with, Shopify, yeah, that might be a good way to put it. Mm-hmm. Uh, Particularly for one product, to outline is the uh, the long term, the short, mid, and long term goals for that. Okay. Mm-hmm. Uh, so by putting the most valuable data first, then you can show the client what it's all about this, because now it wants to see that at a presentation to only figuring out that all the good stuff were at the end of the slide. So put the most relevant data first, and then explain that with different aesthetics and statistics. If you have recurring client, it's important to have some templates to speed up that process, and use graph and the data visualization that help you to and your clients to see what's going on. So there's definitely there are different several graphs that you can go with. Depending on your use case, it can be bar graph, pie chart, when you need this time series relationship to compare different categories or part to a whole. Line graph is when you want to see as a, so bar and pie chart is when you want to see change over time. Okay, line graph and area charts is when you want to see time series relationships. Okay, such as acceleration, deceleration, growth, or volatility. Scatter plot and bubble charts when you want to see correlations of data across different data points that will be used to make some to infer some data from that, which is something that again, correlation doesn't mean causality, but that's a whole different new video. But for example, here you can is using a scatter plot, okay, where on the g-axis you have the on the g-axis you have is time spent on the internet versus on the x-axis the age. Okay, so that's one metric to do that. Then I also look at data or heat maps when you want to see is distribution of data in sorry when you want to see distribution of data uh, in a map or in a table that using is categorical data. What does it mean with this? So for example, if you want to see the number of pop the listeners, reggaeton listener, hip hop listeners, when you want to see them, when you want to see that audience, heat maps allow you to do that. So heat maps allow you to display categorical data, nominal or ordinal data. So nominal data is data that doesn't have an inherent order, such as color, fruits, cards, uh, your mom, marital status, gender, and ordinal data, the data that have some uh, inherent order, such as job seniority, mm, education levels, whether it is an associate is high school diploma, associate degree, bachelor degree, master, and PhD, income brackets, health status, as well as star rating. Okay, this ordinal data. Okay, so this heat map allow us is to display data using intensity of colors on geomaps or data tables. Geomaps is another example of data or a graph that you can use, for example, to display distribution on a map. Example, the number of retail that a particular brand has. Waterfall, when you want to see performance over time, as well as tables, when you want to see sales by sales representative. You want to compare that, or where our blog views are coming from, as well as pictograph. What you want to see is when you want to show a statistic with icons. So with all of this, it's important to know which tools you can use to leverage your report, whether it's Canva to allow you to create your reports, as well as Microsoft Excel or Google Trends, Statista, when you want to use them for your as sources, uh, also your CRM statistics, uh, and remember to make it easy to follow and see how others are formulating data. Because with this, when it comes to show them to your client, it is important to first make it easy to follow, as well as show them in an organized way. So make it readable and compare that with benchmark. So when it comes now to talk about it, this communication tips as consultant, it's important to first break down complex topics because it's people that don't hold a background on that, you need to make that easy for them while you're presenting all of these complex topics. Uh, Also show that you understand the goal, very, very important, and avoid any miscommunication. Also identify is the client working style, okay, as well as perhaps the client is more comfortable or love to just sending emails or do this remote communication, whether it's using Slack or if he likes to do some video call for that. So keep track of the interaction that you're having with that client. Uh, Send brief updates, and especially when it comes now to do your work and build recurring clients. Following is this A/B testing will help you to do that. So A/B testing is for consulting. This A/B testing here. I think this is something that comes from. Okay, it's a user experience research methodology, but it comes from the scientific world. A/B testing is a shorthand for simple randomized control experiment. Exactly. Simply randomized control experiment in which a number of samples, A and B, of a single vector variable are compared. Something very, very important. A single vector variable are compared. These values are similar except for one of the variation which might affect the user behaviors. A/B tests are widely considered the simplest form of control experiment, especially when they only involve two variants. However, by adding more variants to test it, its complexity grows. A/B tests are useful for understanding user engagement and satisfaction of online features, like a new feature of products. Large social media sites like LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram use A/B testing to make user experience more successful and as a way to streamline their service. Today, A/B tests are being used also for conducting complex experiments on subjects such as network effect. Okay. When users are offline, how online service affect user interactions and how users influence one another. A/B testing is used by data engineers. A/B testing is used by data engineers, marketers, designers, software engineers, and entrepreneurs, among others. Many positions rely on the data from A/B tests as they allow companies to understand growth, increase revenue, and optimize customer satisfaction. Exactly, but it's like that. So I'm with this kind of A/B test, not only allow you to understand the your client, but also the client needs, as well as increase the revenue and optimize the customer satisfaction. So version 8 might be used as percents, thus forming the control group, while B is modified in some respect, which is the expected optimized version. But again, assume distribution, Gaussian, binomial, Poisson, multinomial distribution, standard test, man-white U test, chi-square test. So for a comparison of two binomial distributions, such as a click-through rate, one will use Fisher exact tests. Interesting. Common test statistic. Two samples hypothesis tests are appropriate for comparing the two samples where the samples are divided by the two control cases in the experiment. C test. Are appropriate for comparing means under stringent conditions regarding normality and a node standard deviation. Student t-tests are appropriate for comparing means under relaxed conditions when less is assumed. Okay. Well tests assume the least well well wage test assumes the least and is therefore the most commonly used in a two-sample hypothesis test, where the mean of a matrix is to be optimized. When the mean of a metric is to be optimized. Well, the mean of a variable to be optimized is the most common choice of estimator of that. Okay, so challenge. When conducting A-B testing, the user should evaluate the pros and cons to see if it aligns best with the results they're hoping for. Pros. Through A-B testing, it is easy to get a clear idea of what user prefers. Exactly. Exactly. It is easier to get a clear idea of what user prefers. Since it is directly testing one thing over the other, it is based on real users' behavior, so data can be very helpful, especially when determining what works better between two options. In addition, it can also provide answers to very specific design questions. One example is this Google A/B testing with hyperlink colors. In order to optimize revenue, they test dozens of different hyperlink hues to see which color they use tend to click more. Cons. There are, however, a couple of cons of A/B testing, like mentioned above. A/B testing is good for specific design questions, but it can also be downsizing. It is mostly only good for specific design problems. Okay. It is mostly only good for specific design problems with very measurable outcomes. With very measurable outcome. It could be also be a very costly and timely process. Depending on the size of the company and or team, there could be a lot of meeting and discussion about what exactly to test and what the impact of the A/B test is. If there is no significant impact, it could end up a waste of time and resource. Not necessary. Not necessary. You can learn from your problem, your error. In December 2018, representatives with experience in large-scale A/B testing from 13 different organizations Airbnb, Amazon, Booking.com, Facebook, Google, LinkedIn, Lyft, Microsoft, Netflix, Twitter, Uber, and Stanford University attend a summit and summarize the top challenge in a SIG-KDD exploration paper. The challenge can be grouped into four areas: analysis, engineering and culture, deviation from traditional A/B tests, and data quality. So examples: email marketing, A/B testing for product prices, political A/B testing. Exactly, political A/B testing, HTTP routing and API features. A/B testing is very common when deploy a new version of an API. For real-time user experience testing, an HTTP layer 7 reverse proxy is configured in such a way that the number of HTTP traffic goes into a newer server or newer version of the backend instance, while the remaining 100 minus that portion of the HTTP traffic hits the stable older version. of the backend HTTP application server. This is usually done for limiting the exposure of customers to newer backend instances, such that if there is a bug on newer versions, only the number of the total user agents, clients get affected while others get routed to a stable backend, which is a common ingress control mechanism. A common ingress control mechanism. So, A/B test has also been used by political campaigns. In 2007, Barack Obama president campaign used A/B testing as a way to garner online attraction and understand what voter wants to see from the president candidate. For example, Obama team tests 4 distinct buttons on their website that lead users to sign up for newsletter. Additionally, the team used 6 different accompanying images to draw in users. Through A/B testing, staffers were able to determine how effective draw in voters and garners additional interest. But in any case, this is A/B testing. It's part of the user research. Is a user experience research methodology, where now you have the control, the unaltered versions, and the B, which is the expected optimized version. So the whole point of this is to follow some best practice, which is one test at a time, even though they mention here this. So one test at a time, and test one variable, okay? One test at a time. Test one variable and make minor change. Split your test randomly 50-50 and make the test simultaneously. So before doing that test, decide on significance for that. Remember to measure that over time and follow the plan, do, check, and act. So remember that the ultimate goal of A/B testing is to deliver the best value and also to be able to secure long-term clients. So focusing on a particular problem, act, define a plan, do, check, and get that. So this is somewhat similar to when you look at the machine learning workflow, when they have an idea that they're going to put that a test or implement that idea, get the results and analyze the results. They analyze why they don't get they get from the idea to the implementation, analyze results, and error analysis. Okay, and error analysis means that once you get these results, is this the result that you expected? If it is, great. If it's not, figuring out why. This error analysis, and then iterate to that with a new idea. So refine that idea, implement that, check the outcomes. This is the outcome that you want to get from. No? Okay. What will be? So error analysis, and from there, move on, so on. So also that Ray Dalio mentioned about. All right. Okay. So with that, okay, which was a huge overview from almost the entire course, whether it is Module 1, Module 2, 3, and 4. That'll be all for this video. Take care. Bye-bye.